Good afternoon. I'm Richard Reynnells. The devotional for today is truth. Our current society labors not only under the pandemic of the coronavirus that is potentially physically deadly or debilitating, but a more sinister pandemic of a lack of respect for the truth and a lack of respect for the opinions of others regarding an objective and complete estimate of the truth. This is seen in many aspects of our lives, where I believe the mainstream media has found not one thing our president has done correctly. Plus, phone and computer scams, and labeling those who honestly disagree with us using hateful terms. With these and many more examples of a lack of respect for truth and others make God proud of us? Do we care? Too many of us do not respect objectivity and truth, except when it suits our needs, and do not adequately search the Bible for God's truth. God places a high value on truth. For example, no false testimony in Exodus 20:16, do not lie, or Colossians 3:9. So why do we often give it a low value by placing our views ahead of what God clearly says in the Bible? The Old Testament being the basis of teachings and prophecies found in the New, and the latter created by Christ's sacrifices. Many concepts are confusing, and we may well not fully understand all things until our time of judgment. Are our disagreements the difference between heaven or hell? For example, eternal issues, or ones God expects us to discuss and use our conscience and relationship with Him to guide our actions. We each have free will. We must search for the best estimate of the truth when making personal decisions so they are pleasing to God, but not force our views on others. Truth may be secular and readily observable. For example, the law of gravity, the theory of evolution, which does not negate God's truths, and so on, or religious. Religious truths are found in God's inspired instructions for our lives, the Bible. Sometimes humans, including pastors, prefer to insert their thoughts or feelings into the Bible as God's truths. We use personal opinions rather than a search for the truth regarding puzzling scriptures using sources other than the Bible. Or they simply reject God's word and proclaim that their thoughts replace God's teachings. The Methodist Church, along with many others, is experiencing these trials today, and the disregard for truth seems to be pervasive in the news, supporting either side of the political aisle. For example, Russian meddling in our political structure and voting, while ignoring efforts of the People's Republic of China, is a recent example of mainstream media carrying selected messages, which is also a type of lie, to the American public. And supporters of the opposite side of the aisle likewise downplay misinterpretations of reality. Whatever is necessary to promote an agenda, it seems. How can our daily exposure to misinformation be minimized? Using the principle of God's truth as a standard that cannot be altered without penalty, and by adhering to God's command, do not lie, or pick another nice euphemism, can we not objectively evaluate the best estimate of truth for our church, for our country, for our personal lives? Why cannot our political leadership see the need to disregard greed, money and power, for example, of themselves and those who lobby them, or see the destructive nature of ever-increasing personal power and control? Do they not see these will doom both country and church, themselves? Why do leaders not see the need to put God as the primary focus of all church policy and secular legislation, and the people's needs before their own? Each of us in our daily lives need to focus on God's expectations of us as found in the Bible, and to use that as the compass to guide our secular and religious actions. This is true for everyone in the media and our local, state, and national political representatives. Pandemics and other challenges to us, individually and as a nation, will continue to exist until Christ returns. Our response needs to change to a search for God's truth or the best estimate of secular truths. We need to demand that change from our politicians and media. Only by putting God's truth first in our lives and how we conduct our personal and public business can we hope to survive as a nation, as a church, as a person. God be with you.